Uh, yeah. Yeah.
We are live, everybody. It is the Fantasy Cheat Sheet presented by Going for Two Live. Go like, subscribe, comment on all the platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and everywhere. Let's just get right into it. Today is going to be about free agency. But before we talk about NFL free agency, Jamie, my co-host, what is up, my man? How is it going this fine evening?
Oh, it's going great, man. It's been a crazy free agency, though.
Oh,
Haven't seen one
free
of these in
agency.
years, I think.
Free agency has gone bonkers. I will give my thoughts on the craziness in a little bit, besides the player evaluations that we're going to give. But before we get into free agency, there is some news that has happened over the past 4 or 5 days that not very many GF2 shows have discussed. So let's bring up the first, and it is the big one that happened over the weekend. Justin Fields gets traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bears get a 6th round 2025 pick, which is conditionally can move up to a 4th round pick if he plays in 51% of Pittsburgh snaps. What do you think about the trade overall?
I mean, Steelers literally stole Justin Fields. I was thinking he can go for like a 2nd, 3rd round pick at least. But like a 6th round, come on, man. They're better off just keeping him in Chicago, letting him sit behind or even playing the first half of the season, have Caleb come in and take over. I just don't understand how they got so cheap on him.
All right. So I get where you're coming from, but I 100% disagree with you. I understand your point. I get your point. Your point is correct on the. You're right on the compensation. I didn't think they were going to get a 2. I'll be honest. I'm not saying he's horrible. I'm not saying he's as bad as Mac and Cheese or anything like that. But as soon as Mac and Cheese set the bar at his 6th round pick, I knew that Justin Fields was not going to get more than a 4th. I'm shocked.
Is he gonna is he gonna sit behind Russ for the year, and then is he gonna be the starting quarterback going forward? Is that what you think?
I think, but or we'll see. But here, I want to go back one. I want to go back one more thing before we go into the future of the Steelers. I don't think the Bears had any choice to do this at all. They had to wash their hands of it. They had to deal with it. As soon as you decide that you're going to draft Caleb Williams, you have to get him off the roster. You don't want the. You didn't. I don't think they could have dealt with the drama, even on draft day. Even if they decided, hey, we're going to keep him until draft day or whatever, and trade him, then they needed to get rid of him. If you in house decide that you're going to keep, that you're going to draft Caleb Williams, you had to make the move. Unfortunately, they didn't put themselves in the predicament, but I mean, if Carolina would have had 2 more wins this year, this would not be a discussion.
Yeah.
Like, they're only in this predicament because the team that they traded stunk. I get that. But at the same point, I'm not saying they should have done it or shouldn't have done it. I just don't, looking from the outside, I think it would have been more of an issue if they kept him than if they just washed their hands and got rid of him. Then there was a report that said that, they had 4 or 5 teams in the discussion that they asked they asked Justin what his favorite team was on the, what he would want to go to out of these 5 teams or whatever. And he said Pittsburgh was number 1. I do think that he is going to end up being the starter next year. If I had to put money on it now, I mean, I've even heard people on other podcasts say that they think that if it ends up being a true competition, that he could beat out Russ. I don't know if that's going to happen. What do you think about that situation of it?
Yeah, no, I don't think he could beat out Russ. Russ has too much experience going on. Fields, I know he is a locker room type guy. So, yeah, if they brought in Caleb and the locker room was on Fields, that would just definitely bring more issues. So I understand that part. But Steelers' future, man. I don't think he's going to play that 51% this year unless Russ gets hurt, because
that's the issue.
They don't want to pay up on that pick.
And that's the issue for the Bears.
But yeah, going forward, though, I could definitely see them just letting Russ go next year after the contract and just re-signing Fields.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So for this next piece of news, I am going to give the piece of news, and then I'm going to give 30 seconds to Jamie, and then ask him one follow-up question if he doesn't answer the question in his own take, and we will move on. Alexander Mattison has signed a deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, that's a horrible. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, Madison's bad. Yeah. That just tells me that the Raiders are comfortable starting White, or they're going after someone in the draft. I don't see him being more than like a 30% type guy. Change the pace back. Maybe he'll get some targets here and there, but it's going to be White's backfield with Madison behind him. Unless they draft someone, then Madison will just get the leftover scraps, in my opinion.
All right, so here's my follow-up question. My follow-up question was a little bit different, but you answered part of it. What is your opinion of the two options? Is it White or is it draft pick? If you had to put your money on it, are they going to go lower draft pick for a third running back, or are they going to go higher draft pick to compete with White?
I'd say a lower running back.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I want White to be the starting quarter. I want White to be, even though you know I'm not a Raider fan, I want White to be the starting running back of this team.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, he'd be a good buy low before the draft. If someone thinks they are taking a running back high, just go get White cheap right now. Because when they don't draft a quarter or a running back, that's when his price is going to shoot up.
Yep, for sure. All right. So there's times where I keep telling Jamie, be quiet or cut it short. We need to stop talking for a few. But I just asked Jamie to talk a lot, and I'm going to ask Jamie to talk a lot again because the next piece of news is about his own money dealing, back to Brinks truck up, Cleveland Browns. Jamie, your Cleveland Browns gave Jerry Jeudy an extension after they traded for him. 3 years, $58 million extension today. But I'm going to go back to my camera so I can see your face because the $58 million isn't even the problem, Jamie.
It's the
$41 million guaranteed. Is he worth it, or is your team just crazy?
That's crazy to me, man. I mean, you're already wasting money on a quarterback, and now you're wasting money on a guy that hasn't even proved himself. Like, for real, what are we doing, man? You're just throwing money away. Like,
when I saw this deal, when I saw this I'm at work, I see this come up as a Bleacher Report, and I know tonight's the show. I go to the sheet, I enter it, and I go, oh shit, Judy's a Brown. I can't wait for this tonight.
Yeah, I don't understand this one, man. Like, it's just another guy that hasn't proved himself that we're paying money to.
Is this a case of your owner being dumb, or is this a case of, and we'll get to a couple in a little bit, is this a case of the wide receiver market starting to be reset and they had to pay up because of that?
A little bit of both, but I think the owner's just an idiot.
All right.
It doesn't make sense. Like, I can't even put Jerry Jeudy in my top 50 wide receivers this year.
And he's making that much money.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
All right, so speaking of wide receivers, another one got a contract today. This is not where I anticipated him to go. Mike Williams, the former LA Charger, 1-year deal for the New York Jets, up to $15 million if he hits everything. Jamie, first question. Is this good for the Jets?
I think it is, especially for Rodgers. It gives him a deep target, someone like being a red zone. It's just going to help Aaron Rodgers' fantasy numbers. Mike Williams. I mean, who else is there? There's Garrett Wilson and Lazard. That's it right now.
Yep.
So yeah, I can see him still drafting someone just because Mike Williams can't stay healthy, and they're going to need like one of those top tier rookie wide receivers, maybe like someone in the top 10. I can see him going after just to develop behind him.
Yeah, so I think this is a good move, especially short term, because it is a 1 year. And I mean, all political jokes aside, we don't know how long Aaron Rodgers is going to be in New York. It could be 1 year. He could be super healthy and play 2 more years, 3 more years. But any major deal they make has to be for a home run hitter, someone that can help them now. You can't develop someone under them. Yeah, you can develop a rookie because you're expected to develop a rookie, but you're not going to go get a reclamation project in like Jerry Jeudy for, you know what I'm saying. You're not going to go get a reclamation project or someone you got to like deal with. And it's part of the reason I think Elijah Moore was gone in that sense. For Mike Williams himself, and this is what I was bringing up, I personally thought he went to he went to Clemson. He's from South Carolina. I thought he was going to sign not the same money, but I thought he was going to sign a prove it deal like he did. But I thought he was going to the Carolina Panthers because he could go home. Were you surprised that it was the Jets? And do you think this is a prove it deal to get a 2, 3, 4 year deal next year? Or at his age and injury wise, do you think this is more of a we're going to see him go from team to team to team until he ends his career?
Yeah, no, I thought he was going to go to the Panthers also. Thought it would have been a better fit for that team. And I think he's just going to go year to year. I don't think anyone's going to give him with his injury history.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. The only way he does happen to go 2, 3 year deal with his injury history, because like you said, his injury history is the issue, is if for some reason he like plays out of his mind this year. And then there's a team like the Browns or Tennessee who decide to just give him the contract.
Yeah, but if he does play out of his mind, I'm going to give all the credit to Rodgers, not Mike Williams.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But we all seen people make money off of QBs.
Oh, for sure.
Brady, Manning. I mean, Adam Gase made a head coaching career off of Peyton Manning being his head coach for one season.
Yep.
I mean, he became a Jets head coach. I mean, come on. All right, Jamie, are you ready to talk free agency?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. So everyone, if you haven't joined us, because our numbers are higher this week, so there might be some people watching us that have not been here before. We're going to give you 10 cheats. Since there's 2 of us, 4 a person, then we have one that we are going to combine on because we both like to talk about this player, I guess. And then we will have our cheat of the week. So class is in session, Jamie. It's the meat and potatoes of the episode now. Your first one. All right, so I'm going to set you up on this. Every year, Jamie has a draft baby, draft sensation, someone that he decides that he is going to be an idiot and go, I am going to put my first pick in Scott Fishbowl if someone will donate money. I give you credit for putting your money where your mouth is, but last year it was Roschon Johnson, who of the University of Texas, who went to the Chicago Bears. I didn't think the Chicago Bears were going to pick up a heavy free agent running back at the beginning of this free agency period. Go for it, buddy.
Yeah, I just wanted to rip the Band-Aid off on this one real quick. DeAndre Swift going to the Bears just tanked all my Roschon Johnson shares. I have to keep moving him down and down in my rankings. I think he's down to my RB 40 almost right now. And that sucks because I thought he was going to shoot up to like RB 20, 24. But no, Swift, man. I like the fit, though, with Swift being on the Bears. I can see him getting about 60% because, he usually goes 55, 60% of the snaps, I could see him at most, maybe some games 65, and then the rest is just going to be split between Roshan and Khalil Herbert. So unless there's an injury to Swift, I would just stay away from the other two backs in that field, man. Like, it sucks because I was taking Roshan in my best balls in like round 10, 11. I think I got him in 11th before the Swift signing. Now I'm just staying away from Roshan unless I can get him like in the 14th as like a dart throw. But Swift, I keep raising him up. Like right now, I think he's my 15th running back in Dynasty because he's got that 3-year deal right there. Khalil Herbert's going to be gone after this year. Roshan's going to be there 3 years with him. So I think Swift could be someone you can go out and buy. He's only, 25 still? By the end of the contract, he'll be past that age apex. But yeah, so go buy some Swift. Go hold on to your Roshan, Joe, just in case there's an injury. But don't go out buying them, paying too much.
All right. So here, I am not going to bash. I'm not going to harp on you anymore about Roshan because I do feel your pain. I know what you mean. I want to talk more about the guy who's on the show sheet because DeAndre Swift, not to harp on anybody, not to go back to ripping Band-Aids off, CEH. In my opinion, I know there was talks about Jonathan Taylor, but I've brought this up before, Jamie, off camera to you multiple times when we were just bullshitting. I thought DeAndre Swift should have been the number one running back off the board in that draft class, and it should not have been CEH. When I heard running back from the Chiefs, when Roger Goodell got up to the podium and said, the Chiefs take running back, I literally thought it was going to be DeAndre Swift. So from that minute forward, yes, I was on DeAndre Swift guy. He gets drafted by Detroit. I don't think Detroit used him correctly. Like we see, they don't really use running backs correctly. Yes, why can't I think of his name right now? Gibbs and freaking Monty. We all, there were people that thought it was all going to be the Gibbs show, and then Monty's still there. Then he goes to Philly. After before they draft Gibbs, he goes to Philly, gets traded. Yes, he's capped a little bit in Philly because of Hurts. Him going to Chicago, I don't know what to think. And what I mean is, I'm not, like you said, he's moving up. He's higher than he was, but I am not selling any of my DeAndre Swift shares. I'm sorry, but I don't know about the buy. He's definitely a hold. He's definitely not a sell. That's, in my opinion, he's not a sell. But I don't know what to expect from this offense. One, because now we know we're going to have a rookie quarterback. You got DJ Moore. He's not on the show sheet, so I'll just say you got Keenan Allen. We don't know if they're going to do anything else at wide receiver. We don't know what they're going to do at tight end. I still think there's a chance, even though they did sign Gerald Everett, I do still think there's a chance that they go tight end in the draft. I truly believe that. So it could be where they lean on the running game, and it could be a passing attack. We don't know. That's the only reason I'm afraid of DeAndre Swift. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you always got to be cautious with situations like this.
Well, and it doesn't help when you have the other thing is you have a new offensive coordinator that coached in Seattle who you never knew. Like, Jamie, how many times last year during the offseason did me and you, before the draft, did me and you talk about Zach Charbonnet?
Oh, yeah. Tons.
And then he gets drafted, and we're like, okay, we're screwed. And then it's like, okay, we're not screwed. And then it's, oh, no, we are. And then, oh no, they're going to be a passing team. Ken Walker's still not it. And then, so it all depends on what they do with the move. So for my first one, I want to make sure that I have my guys in order. Yeah, it is. We're going to stay at the running back position for mine and your next one. Los Angeles Chargers have pretty much been decimated by free agency, trades, whatever you want to call it. Austin Eckler is now a Washington Commander, Jamie. 2-year deal up to $11.43 million if everything checks out on all of it. I don't think he's going to get the 11.43 because I don't know if he's going to hit the thresholds. I'm just going to dive into it. I honestly do not know what your opinion is. You know that. You do know my opinion because I wrote an article. It's out there. An article is published on Dynasty Nerds. I wrote the article of the reaction. So okay, I'm going to say something. I'm going to go both ways, and then I'll let you have the floor, Jamie. I love this move. I absolutely love this move, Jamie. But I hate this move. I love this move for the Washington Commanders and football. Real NFL football, I love this move. He is going back to Anthony Lynn, who was his head coach for a year in LA. Anthony Lynn is now the running game coordinator and running backs coach for the Washington Commanders. However, for fantasy purposes, which is what we focus on, I don't like this in redraft for sure, Jamie. I don't like it I like it in redraft more than I like it in Dynasty. And in my article, I said, if he is on my team and I am a lower end or rebuild team, Jamie, I am trying to sell him to the person who will give me the most because he's not going to do me any good on my team.
Yep.
He's not going to do me any good in 2 years. And if I'm 10, if I'm at the one, if I quote unquote earned the 102, the 103, he's not going to do me any good unless I got 3 or 4 extra picks and I can get, 3 or 4 studs that are going to produce right away, and highly doubt that is the case. If I'm a contending team and I'm only one, like say you're in a start, there are shallow leagues, but some of the leagues that me and you know and me and you play in, 12, 14 teams, start 10, start 11 sometimes. And if you're in a league that's 2 running back and you got to start 2 flex, and he is a player that you can put in your second flex and not have to rely on him as a running back, which I am going to have to rely on him. I have a team, Jamie, that has him, DeAndre Swift, and a wide receiver we're going to be talking about later. So that all have moved teams in the last 5 days. But I am going to have to rely on him as a flex, but not a RB. So in redraft, I am out on him because I still think he's going to cost too much. But I would draft him later rounds, but I am out on him in that case. What do you think about this? Because I have not heard your opinion.
Yeah, I know. I was confused at this because they already had a pass catching running back on the team. They could have just signed again for cheaper, and he's younger. But no, they went and got Eckler. So I don't know what to think about this, man, because I'm confused on how they're going to do the splits. Is Eckler only going to get 6 carries, 5 targets? He's probably not going to be used in the red zone because they got B-Rob.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of.
I just don't know what to think about this. And I'm in a draft right now. I was in the 8th round, and Eckler and B-Rob were there, and ADP Eckler's going ahead of B-Rob. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I'd rather have B-Rob than Eckler. So I ended up going with the Brian Robinson pick, and
what round
4
was that?
Later, someone took Eckler in the 8th round. So,
what, 8th round? Okay.
Yeah, 8th round. It's a good price for either of them. It's late enough to where you can take a shot on them. But in my opinion, I think B-Rob's going to get like the first, second down work. He showed us that he could also pass catch. So they might just be using Eckler for that straight pass catching. And I want the touchdowns. I want the guy that's going to like be in the red zone. So, yeah, give me B-Rob over Eckler all day.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I do think he's going to get and I think you commented on this on the Facebook group that my article was in. I do think that he's going to get a few more carries than you do, but I am 100% on board with you in the sense that most of his, even though he's known for Eckler is known for, being the pass catching running back and breaking little runs or whatever. If you look at most of his runs, obviously anybody's red zone guys are going to be, but on a lot, there's more. His percentage is even higher than most for his touchdowns to be inside the 3-yard line. And what a lot of them were like he'd go out, play action or whatever, go out and get a little dump out in the open when he's open on the flat. That would happen a lot. So what you mentioned about the red zone absolutely frightens me. But as a real NFL asset, in the locker room, helping out B-Rob, coming up with a big play when they need it, because the coaches know him, great. But for fantasy, I don't like it. Speaking of stud fantasy running backs, the next running back on the board of Jamie's has been a stud for years, a workhorse back for years. I don't care if he doesn't catch the ball often. He can run. He can throw the ball for a touchdown, and he is absolutely this week's cover boy athlete. Jamie, King Henry has a new home. Where has he flown to, and what do you expect?
Yeah, if going to the Ravens, man, this is the ultimate cheat sheet for the NFL. You put King Henry and Lamar in that backfield, you ain't stopping that, man. You are not stopping that. But last year, Gus Edwards had 13 touchdowns. What do you think Henry's going to do? He's going to smash that. I could see 17, 18 touchdowns this year from him.
15.
You're calling for 15? Yeah, I'll take the over on that, man. If Edwards can get,
I'll give my reasoning why, but at this moment, I'll say 15.
Yeah, so last year Edwards was RB25 on the year. I mean, Henry's definitely going to be in the top 12. I could see him having top 5 weeks at times. When he gets those multiple touchdown games, and like you said, like he could catch passes. It's just he's probably not going to, especially with the Russian quarterback like Lamar. But the one thing everyone ignores is now with King Henry there, they actually have someone that can throw touchdowns in the playoffs.
I knew you were going to do something stupid tonight. I just didn't know when it was.
Yep, I figured I'd get it over with early.
Okay. Okay. So here's my take, and I'm just going to say the joking part of my take first because you said it just now and it wasn't that bold. But how long into the season until Derrick Henry throws a pass to Lamar?
Oh, man. Week 5?
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen where he throws a touchdown pass to Lamar. Okay, so to my serious point, I love the move for Henry. I love the move for the Ravens. I hate the move for the rest of the NFL because, like you said, this is going to be nasty. And this is really going to be nasty in December and January. When it gets cold, you go into places like Kansas City, you go into places like Foxborough, even, regular season, even up by you, even if they have to go play you guys or they got to go play the other team in Ohio, the Bungles. It's going to be nasty. But the reason I think it's going to be 15, Jamie, is I actually think Lamar is going to get more rushing touchdowns because I think that down in the red zone, like if it's goal line, if it's 1 yard line, they're giving it to King Henry. If it's 3 yard line, watch out for the option.
Yeah. I can see that.
People are going to have to collapse on Henry that much more. How many times did they collapse down on the line to Gus, like you said, and then freaking, he still scores. But what I'm saying is, how many times did that where they, go down to Gus, and Lamar does the rollout for a touchdown? You see him just walk into the pylon. I think that's going to happen more often. So yes, it's going to help out Henry, but at the same time, I think a couple, for like you said, Gus got 13. I think Henry's ceiling is where you're saying 17, 18-ish. But I think Lamar takes a couple of away. That's the only reason I go 15. But hands down, this is a great move. Great move. Nothing bad to say about it. That's why I put him on the damn cover. Okay. I am going to, we're just going to do it. I'm going to a wide receiver. I was going to switch them up real quick, so we just went running backs. But I'm not going to do that. I am going wide receiver. We're not bringing them up on the show, so I'm just going to bring it up real quick to segue into my take, Jamie. Gabe Davis signed the deal. He is going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar. So because of that deal, the Bills needed to sign somebody. I'm telling you right now, this is not who I thought they were freaking going to sign. 3 years, $30 million to who? Curtis Samuel. They get another little guy. So now you got Khalil Shakir. Now you got Curtis Samuel, who has said today that he's going to wear number 1 this year because number 10 is worn by Curtis Samuel or by Shakir. Number 4 is worn by James Cook. So he is deciding to wear number 1. I think Shakir is going to be affected on this one. But I'll be honest, I am not, before we go straight into Curtis Samuel, I am still not 100% sure that Stephon Diggs is on this team at the first game of the year. He's still saying stuff. He's still putting, snarky comments and cryptic tweets and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I mean, my bold take is that owner that has gotten ridiculed by the media because he hasn't made a big move yet because he said he was going all in and hasn't done anything could make a splash for Stephon Diggs to team up with CeeDee Lamb and play with his brother in Dallas. Tell me if any owner's going to do it, it's Jerry.
Yeah, definitely Jerry.
I mean, if an owner is going to make that move, it would be Jerry. But Curtis Samuel in Buffalo, I did not realize this till 15 minutes before the show, right before I got home. He is going back to play with Joe Brady, who was his offensive coordinator his last year in Carolina before he moved on to go play in Washington. I like this for Curtis Samuel. The reason I wanted to bring it up is because everyone was like, oh, Curtis Samuel, if he gets to a good spot, I'm going to move him up my ranks. He did good in Washington. Well, that kind of thing, right, Jamie?
Yep.
I think he stays pat. I don't think he goes up or down in my rankings.
Yeah.
I think it's a good move football-wise, but for fantasy, I think he's going to stay the same.
Like, what was he last year? Around wide receiver 40, 45?
I'll look it up if you want to give your take, and then I'll look it up for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely like it for the Bills. Fantasy-wise, I'm not touching them unless it's a best ball league. I'm not going to trust him in my lineup week to week at all. He's got that gadget style play. He'll play in the slot. He's definitely got the speed. And, I love him because he was an Ohio State guy. Just never really panned out as well as I thought in the NFL. But I think this could be his chance. If anything, it'll be the Bills that kind of give him that little push to go up a little bit in value. But I don't see it being much. I don't think I could put him inside my top 40. So he'll be that second flex type player.
Yeah, and in PPR he was 42.
Okay, yeah. I can see him being around that area.
And I think the reason everyone's optimistic is the year that he was with Joe Brady, he was 25. So I think that's part of the reason people in Buffalo are like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But you still got Diggs who's going to have to get the ball. You still got Shakir. No one's bringing. I mean, we haven't brought him up, but you don't
Kincaid.
need to, huh?
You got Kincaid.
That's what I was. Yeah, I'm like, you still got Kincaid that's got to get the ball. And honest truth, Jamie, if they don't get another wide receiver, because I've heard them, maybe drafting, someone at 26, wherever they're at, 26, 28, wherever they're at in the draft. I've heard people saying that they could draft someone there too. Could they just say, hey, we got Josh Allen. We're gonna use James Cook. We're gonna use Stephon, and we're gonna just go bully ball and run 2 freaking tight ends because Dawson Knox is not washed.
Yeah, he's a good tight end.
And you can put him and Kincaid in there and play the 2 tight end set like other teams have run and been successful if you don't have the wide receivers.
Yeah, definitely. And even use Kincaid in the slot.
Exactly. You could honestly, not to bring a bad guy up, but you can run them like New England did with Hernandez and
yeah.
Gronk, where you have Hernandez on the line and you have Gronk out wide. You can do the exact same thing. So, Unfortunately, yeah, I think Buffalo's still going to be good. I don't think Buffalo's done making moves at wide receiver.
Yeah, I see him drafting someone. So if you have Curtis Samuel right now is actually a good time to sell him on this move before they draft another receiver.
Exactly. All right. So, Jamie. Jamie. One of the biggest moves of free agency happened kind of right away. We already knew it was going to happen. A couple other auxiliary pieces happened. So I want you to talk about the actual moves. Then I will talk about how it affects the 3 people already there. And then I will throw it back to you.
All right. Yeah. Kirk Cousins goes to the Falcons. Well, first they get rid of their coaches, and then they bring out new coaches, and they just keep adding all this talent around. So Cousins goes there. You got Darnell Mooney and Ant-Man, Rondell Moore. Yeah. and I love these moves, man. You said you were going to talk a little bit and then throw it back. I'll let you go ahead.
All right. So before I throw it to Jamie, I don't really want to talk about Mooney, and I really don't want to talk about Rondell Ant-Man Moore, who was traded for Desmond Ridder. I'm going to talk about Cousins. Cousins will never win you the Super Bowl. He will never win the game on primetime, jokes aside. He's that type that will do enough to get you to the edge, and you'll need another player to get you over the edge. Right? Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's got the talent to, not screw it up. He's got the talent to get you to the cusp, and then you need a player to get you over that cusp. With Kirk Cousins, I do believe they have the players to get them over the cusp. He is going to help more than anyone. He is going to help Drake freaking London and Kyle Pitts. First, I want to get to Drake. I don't know where you have him ranked right now. I don't know if you've done full hard rankings or not in Dynasty, Jamie. But
I've been dabbling in it a little bit.
I saw him as high as 10 and 9 and 10. Jason and Andy of the footballers have him at 10 and 11. I saw somebody, I can't remember exactly who, but they had him at 9. I don't have him that high. I don't really have my hard rankings, but I could see him around 15.
Yeah, that's where I got him actually.
I maybe would even have him a tad bit higher, but just in that ballpark. I'll let you talk more about Mooney, but with London, I will say this. with the Mooney move, I think Rondell's going to be the gadget guy. I still think they can maybe draft someone a little bit later. They're not going to spend a first or second round guy, but like we said, they're deep at the draft is deep at tight end. I mean, at wideout. I do believe that they might draft someone later. Because of that, I think London, not all the time, but I think London could turn into more. He'll run the short and intermediate route and use his body to get him down the field more, a la kind of like a Mike Thomas, but not. I'm not saying he's going to be a full slant boy. I do think he's going to get more targets. I think he's going to have more catches, and he's going to have more touchdowns. My question that I still have for myself, and that's one of the reasons I want to throw it back to you, is what does this do for Pitts in the sense of he is moving up people's boards hardcore again because of the fact that they got Kirk Cousins? Does his make him a top 5 borderline dynasty again? Does this make him a guy that's gonna get the touchdowns now that you don't have Jonnu there? The offensive coordinator is from the Rams system. So I'm curious how they're going to use Cousins in the offense because, I mean, yeah, they have Higbee, but they didn't use him like a huge tight end. What do you think overall about Pitts? And then just go back into your take.
Yeah, Pitts, man. Like I've seen him outside people's top 12 rankings in Dynasty. I think Jeff had him at 13 at one point.
Yeah.
And I thought that was insane. So I went out and I just bought a bunch of Kyle Pitts as much as I could. I got Godwin, gave up Godwin straight up for Pitts. Thought that was a steal. Can't put him in my top 5 yet, just because of the people that are over him, like Laporta, McBride, Kincaid, Hawkinson, Andrews.
Yep.
But he's right on that, like 6th, 7th for me.
Do you have him over Kelsey now?
For Dynasty? Yeah. No, Kelsey, okay. I got like way lower at like 10 because he's probably only got 1 year left.
Yep, 1 or 2.
Yeah. So yeah, I got Pitts over Kittle, Ingram, Kelsey, Njoku, Goddard. To round out my top 12. But yeah, Cousins though, definitely shot up London in my ranks because I had him outside of top 20. Now I think I have him right around that 14, 15 area. I see him going in the 2nd round in best ball. Like someone took him in the 2nd round, which is insane.
London?
Yeah, Drake London in the 2nd round. I was like, wow. This was like right when the news broke that Cousins went there. A little too high for me in redraft. I can see 3rd round maybe because he could be a top 12 receiver, but I don't want to draft him as the 12th receiver. I want to get him a little bit later if I can. So I don't think I'm going to be getting a lot of London this year in redraft just because he's going to go a little too high. Mooney and Rondell, not really interested in them. They're just going to be like the complementary pieces. Like Mooney more so in best ball I'll take. Rondell, I just think he's more of an NFL guy than a actual fantasy asset, in my opinion.
All right. So we're going to go to my next one, and mine is a combination of a trade and an extension off of the trade. So I don't know what you thought last week, but last week I'm sitting on my couch and I get a freaking news blurb that says Joe Mixon is being released by the freaking Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
Then 30 seconds later, we get news that the Bengals are signing Zach Moss. And then the next morning, Cincinnati Bengals have decided not to cut Joe Mixon. However, they're trading him to the Houston Texans. Then the Houston Texans go ahead. They make a deal, 3-year contract. Base value is $25 million, 25 and a half, $1.5 million in incentives, $13 million fully guaranteed, Jamie. So for 3 years, he's getting 25. For 2 years, Eckler's getting 11. Okay. Great for his agent, great for him. Great for his agent, great for him. Okay, Jamie. You have no idea where I'm going with this. I have no idea me and Jamie don't know what each other are thinking on this. But Jamie does know that when he was in Cincinnati, I was not a Mixon guy. Jamie,
Yep.
give it to me, baby. Give it. No, I want Mixon now. I want Mixon on this move. I mean, yes, he had Burrow. Don't get me wrong, but you had Stroud. You got a coach who still, don't forget that this coaching staff still comes from the Niner tree. That even though he's a defensive side of the ball coach, the Niners like to run the ball and then pass the ball. Where Cincinnati was about passing the ball and then running the ball. I think that's going to be key. I do think they're going to use Mixon in the passing game a little bit. I still don't know how I feel about Pierce. I'll let you answer that if you want. You don't have to. But I like Mixon. I know I'm not going to be able to buy him, but I would buy him, and I'm going to be drafting him in redraft higher than I normally would. I don't know if I'll end up with him because just the way I play, but I'd be more willing. And I do think this is a good thing for Houston. And I really think, even though I didn't think he was going to end up here. Yes, we both said I thought Barkley was going to be here, but after Barkley signed, you'll be able to figure out who it is. But Jamie's cheat of the week is who I really thought was going to end up in Houston. Okay, there's your hint. So everyone knows Jamie's cheat of the week is a running back. But just to let Jamie know who I thought, Jamie's cheat of the week is who I thought was going to end up in Houston after the Barkley move. But now that they got Mixon, I like this for Mixon. I like this for football, and I like it for fantasy. Jamie, what do you think?
Any running back that was going to go to Houston, I was going to be on this year, and it just happens to be Mixon. Last year, Mixon was a top 10 running back?
Yeah.
He's going to be better on Houston, and you're drafting him. I think he's only like 15th. I don't know his ADP right now, but you're probably going to get him at like RB 15, something like that. I'm looking at my underdog draft. He went in the middle of the 6th round. Like, that's crazy if you're going to be a top 10 running back in Houston. Yeah, they got a lot of mouths to feed, but like, he's still going to eat. He's going to be part of that offense. Dameon Pierce is an afterthought. He's probably only get like 25 to 30%. So that leaves Mixon with 65, 70%. I mean, that's a pretty much full-time back right now. If you're getting 70% of the snaps, like that's considered almost a workhorse right there.
Yep.
I think his touchdowns are going to go up. He's going to get targeted in the passing game. Yeah, give me Mixon all day if he's in that RB 15 area, because he will be a top 10 at the end of the year.
Oh, I think he'll definitely be right around 10 to 12, hands down. I think this is good for him, and he's going to lose some of the work to Pierce, but I don't think it's going to be enough to do damage. All right, so for the last two before we get into the second half, the back end of the show, it's the wide receiver section. Jamie, do you want me to say the trade or do you want to do it?
You go ahead.
Carolina Panthers have a new wide receiver. They traded for Deontay Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jamie, what do you think about Deontay Johnson being in that powder blue and black?
I think it's going to help Deontay, and it's also going to help Bryce Young take a little step forward. It just seems like they mesh perfectly together. You got Deontay running those short routes, and then Young's just going to get the ball out quick. So I'm going to target Deontay. I don't know where he's going right now. I didn't really look, but wherever he's going, I bet it's going to be a value because people aren't looking at – they're looking at the quarterback. And they're like, oh, the quarterback sucks, right? He was quarterback 30 last year or something like that?
Something horrible.
Yeah, so that's going to steer people away from Deontay. But if you look at like PPR leagues, like you want those short catches, and that's what Deontay's great at. He's a good separator. And then you got Young that gets the ball out quick. So I love this move for Deontay. I also love it for the Steelers getting rid of him. But yeah, so like, what are your thoughts on Deontay going there?
Okay, so I honestly had no idea. Like we said, me and Jamie have not talked about this topic all week. I did not think you were going there. I thought you were going the opposite. Because I'll be 100% real with you, Jamie. I absolutely freaking love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I made jokes on this show calling him DeAndre Dropson. I made jokes on the show calling him DeAndre Dropson. But targets are king, just like in running backs, volume are king. Targets are king. I mean, you even know I wrote that article last offseason because Deontay didn't have any touchdowns the year before. And I'm like, he's going to have to get touchdowns this year. He got a few. But his targets went down because Kenny Pickett was not good. Not saying Bryce Young is good, but Kenny Pickett wasn't good. And they also had Freiermuth, and they also had, Jalen Warren and Najee coming out of the backfield. And they also had, Pickens.
Yep.
But I just listed 5 weapons for Pickett, right? You got Warren. You got Harris. You got Najee. You got Warren. You got Pat Fry. You got Pickens. That's 4 other weapons besides Deontay. I can't name 2 weapons that Carolina has.
I don't know. Is Thielen still on that team?
But is he truly a weapon? He did good for the first 6 weeks, and then freaking Bryce Young forgot he was there.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. Bryce Young was on his butt all night from getting sacked and hit. But Deontay is one of those guys that he's going to get the short routes, which is fine. He's going to get peppered with targets. Would it surprise you if he had 120 targets again this year?
I could see more because
that's what I mean.
The only person in that offense.
He's not. I mean, he can easily get 120 targets. All I have to say about this to keep it short so we can keep moving on is, Jamie, on this one, I give you the kudos because this is absolutely correct. And Deontay Johnson is back in my sights, and I have him on a couple teams. I've already got an offer for him, and guess what? I ain't giving him up because I'm a contender in that league, and I'm sorry. You're not to get a starting wide receiver off of my team. If I'm in a contending league, you're going to have to pay for him, and you're not.
Yeah, right now I see he went in the middle of the 7th round in my last best ball, and I'm probably going to target him in the 6th round, honestly.
I would get him in the 5th or 6th.
Yeah, considering who's going after him, like DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Watson, Sutton, Myers, Jameson Williams. Yeah, I'll reach on him in the 5th, 6th for sure.
Yeah, I will definitely reach on him in the 5th or 6th round. I just want to make sure something on this real quick. All right, Jamie, you ready for this one? Because I have a feeling on this one. After last year, I have a feeling on this one.
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay. So I'm right on this one. Okay. So, but you might not be right. Thinking the other way back. Calvin Ridley is no longer a Jacksonville Jaguar. He has spent his 1 year after being banned from the league in Jacksonville to now go to the Tennessee Titans. Why wouldn't he go to Tennessee? If any team is offering me this at freaking 29 or 30 years old after I've only played one in the last 3 years, and a team wants to pay me $92 million for a 4-year contract, Jamie, $50 million guaranteed. And then you hear what he said in his press conference?
What did he say?
I'm here because they offered me the most money.
Yeah.
He literally said, it's not about. He literally said, someone asked him about, oh, wins, they're not, and he goes, that's fine. They're paying me the most money that I got offered.
Yeah, I mean, his Super Bowl window's kind of shortened up anyway, so you might as well go to the money. Yeah.
Especially now that he's signed there, it's gone. Okay, so this is how I feel about the Ridley move. I am not as bad on it as some people are. Do I think it's the greatest move for the Tennessee Titans? Absolutely not. They paid $50 million guaranteed to a guy who might not even be their number one. He might be their number two. We just don't know what DeAndre is going to do this year. I do not love this move. I hate it for fantasy, Jamie. Last year, I was a Ridley darling. You know that. I love Ridley last year. You couldn't stand him. You were on the Kirk bandwagon. I was on the Ridley bandwagon. We will get to the Kirk bandwagon on another night because there is some stuff I want to bring up about the Jaguars now. But for fantasy purposes, I can't stand this. I don't want them on my teams if I'm not trying to get them. If someone wants to come get them, they can come get them. I have a question about that in a second for you. But for real football, I don't hate this move. If I'm Tennessee, I have no problem. If I'm a Tennessee fan, I don't have a problem with Tennessee making this move because you had to get a wide receiver. I know you overpaid. I get that you overpaid. But Jamie, we were some of the same people. I don't remember if you were, but I know I was. There were a lot of people in the fantasy industry. And I'm not saying he's going to end up turning into a fantasy darling. That's not what I'm saying. But Tennessee had a lot of salary cap, right?
Yep.
How many people that we personally know were saying the same things when Kirk made his deal with Jacksonville? They had all this money to spend. They had to spend the money. They had to get over a certain amount. I'm not saying Tennessee had to get over a certain amount. They were already at that amount. But when Jacksonville signed that deal with Kirk, there were plenty of people that were saying, overpay, overpay, overpay. He's not going to live up to it. I don't think Ridley's going to live up to the money, but I understand why they made the move. So give your take, and then I got a follow-up for you.
You're 100%. For fantasy purposes, I'm out on Ridley. I'm out on Hopkins. They're just going to eat into each other's production. I think they did it for the NFL standpoint of you got a young quarterback with a big arm, right? You got Will Levis. So, hey, what's up, Kyle? But yeah, I think they're just going to surround Levis with all this talent and then see what he can do for the year. If he bombs, then that's on Levis. They're going to move forward. If he succeeds, then, you can move forward with Will Levis. I'm out on almost all Tennessee Titans this year. Ridley, Hopkins, Pollard, Spears. I'm just gonna stay away from them all. I don't want them. If I have them in Dynasty, I'm gonna try to get rid of them.
All right. Yeah. So you're a manager, okay? He is on your team. What's the least you'll sell him for?
Let's see. Probably a late second, honestly. Okay. Yeah, like that. Give me like a 208. Just off the top of my head, yeah, somewhere around that area.
Yeah, I was just curious of the ballpark.
Yeah, because he is up there in age. So yeah, give me what I can.
All right, so I'm gonna go straight to the combination pick of the night, and here we go. And I'm gonna let you go first, and you know why. Marquise Hollywood Brown is now a Kansas City Chief. 1 year up to $11 million, $7 million base. Jamie, what do you think about this? And then I'll let you go, and then I'll give my, depending on what you say, it'll either be a rant or it'll just be my take. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love this for the Chiefs, man. You finally got a receiver with experience that can, get downfield. I think it helps take pressure off Rashee Rice. So Rice is actually a buy for me in fantasy because of that. And Marquise Brown, I'm not going to go out and buy him. I'm probably not going to sell him either unless someone wants to overpay for him. Like, if I have him on my team, I'll keep him. He'll be my wide receiver 3, most likely, or a flex play. But I can see him having those spike weeks. I mean, you got Mahomes, right? So he could have those, like even a top 12 week at some points in the season. But I see him averaging probably around the wide receiver 30 area. You probably get him in the 6th round of best ball right now, I'm thinking. At the latest. Yeah. So, yeah, probably somewhere right around Deontay. So if I had to choose between Deontay and Marquise, I'm taking Deontay in that situation, honestly.
All right. Okay, here we go. This is my team. How do I feel about this? You were 100% right about Rashee Rice. 100%. You're 100% right about him still probably being a 3 for overall
Fantasy.
Overall year. You're 100% right that he's going to have spike weeks. I do think this helps out Rice. I also do think this helps out Kelsey. Obviously, we don't have to sit there and say, does this help out Mahomes or does this not help out Mahomes? Well, of course it helps out Mahomes. He doesn't have to throw the ball to Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore as much. That's like saying, is freaking generic peanut butter better than Jif? No, dummy. Of course he's going to. That's like, come on. It's like you get one freaking speedster. We got Kadarius Toney's the freaking, like the peanut butter and jelly that's in the jar together. And then you got like freaking, Hollywood. Of course, no, you're going to take the real peanut butter and the real jelly sandwich. No, you're not going to get that goopy crud. Get that out of here. But I was not as stoked as much on this move overall as you would have thought. I do think it's a good move. Don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm saying. You already know where if you remember me talking in the past, you'll know where I'm going with this. And I'm putting this up first.
100% agree.
100%, Kyle. He is better than any wide receiver we had. He's better than any other wide receiver, including Juju, that we've had in the past 3 years. I'm not denying that. He's better than the ex-Packer, too. However, here's my problem, and it's just how I wanted the team to go. I wanted a bigger body wide receiver, Jamie. I wanted Mike Will. I wanted Mike Williams in the sense that I wanted a bigger guy. We don't have anyone else that's a bigger guy that can, a bigger body. He fits the architect type of everybody else on the team, size-wise. That's the only problem. Speed-wise, route running, yes. I just wanted a little bit bigger body. That could still happen in the draft. But overall, this is a good move fantasy-wise. This is a good move for the Chiefs as a whole, as a team. And I already saw pictures. They're already working together. They were working out today. Mahomes had Hollywood working out with his strength coach today. So they're already working out. They're already going to be running routes. I love this move. Brett Veach again did it and cost us $11 million. And for Hollywood himself, it's probably a prove-it deal. The thing that we keep forgetting about Hollywood, it seems like Hollywood's been in the league forever, but he's still young. Yes, he was on Baltimore. Yes, he was on Arizona. But he is still young and can still be a guy that can get better and maybe even another contract in the future.
He's going to be a Super Bowl champ after this season, right?
Dude, if that happened, yes, you already know how I feel about that. If he became a Super Bowl champ again, I would probably go crazy a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, Jamie. You ready to go to work?
Oh yeah.
Before we get to the cheat of the week, we got to pay some bills. I just have a delay on my end when I hit the button, so that's why I'm waiting. All right, now it's up. All right. Today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their industry-leading best ball leagues with huge tournaments, private leagues, and pick'ems for every major sport. Sign up with our promo code GF2 and get a deposit match of up to 100. Baseball is starting, so go ahead over there for that because that starts tonight at 3:30 a.m. my time. It's as simple as that. Sign up, use promo code GF2, and you could start drafting all your best ball teams now. And if you sign up for a random 12-person league, there's a 50% chance that you are either playing with Jamie or a couple other people from the GF2 team.
Yeah, like I'm in one with I think Josh and a couple other people right now.
It's either you or Dan. You or B League are probably in like 50% of the little 12-man leagues every other time. All right. And I mean, I know Jeff put one up too, so you never know. I mean, they got the special rookie only and sophomore contest.
Yep.
So, all right. So it is time for the cheat of the week. And it is funny that Kyle is in the chat now. Because, Kyle, this cheat of the week, in more ways than one, is all about you, buddy. Jamie,
Yeah.
who is your cheat of the week? And take it away.
Yeah, we're starting with Aaron Jones going to the rival on the Vikings. Like, what a way to just like put your middle finger up and saying, well, you don't want me anymore. I'm just going to go to a rival and play you twice a year and just run all over you. Like, I love this move for Aaron Jones. Obviously, they needed a back because all they had was Madison and Chandler. I can still see them maybe drafting a later round guy, but they don't need to. They got Aaron Jones. They got Chandler as change of pace guy. My question is, like, when I'm in a best ball, and then we talked about Mixon earlier, he's got like top 10 potential. Well, so does Aaron Jones, I think. So if I was on the clock staring at those two, I'd flip-flop. I'd be flip-flopping them, man. Like, I don't know who I would take, who I'd rather have. I'd probably go Mixon, but in the back of my head, I would want Aaron Jones just because when he does play the Packers, like, he knows that team very, very well. So I think he's just going to pick them apart. You got that revenge factor. I don't know. I love the move for Aaron Jones. I know they don't have a quarterback per se right now, but do you really need one? I mean, Aaron Jones is just going to probably get like 15, 20 touches a game, every game. What do you think? I know Kyle's in there probably.
Yeah, so Kyle says he would go Mixon over Jones, but close.
Yeah.
I do love this for him. I was hoping he was going to stay there. We will get to that in a second. Because I had heard the rumors that he might get cut. I didn't want him to. Green Bay re-signed AJ Dillon, and we'll get to the other one in a second. But for the Vikings, I think this is a great move. They can lean on him a little bit because, more than likely, it looks like they might. There is the possibility. Yes, they got Sam Darnold, Mono Boy. But it does seem like there is a chance that a rookie becomes their quarterback. They also have Myles Gaskin, like Kyle just said in the chat. So I really do love this for Aaron Jones himself. The revenge factor is there. Does that purely why he did it? No, I think, maybe part of it. He gets to play in a dome. He doesn't have to play in Lambeau in the cold. All that can play into it. For the Vikings, this is great. So for them to have him, like you said, he has a top 10 potential. I do agree with Kyle and you in the sense of I would still take Mixon, but this is closer than I want it to be in the sense of if I'm on the clock, it would scare the living daylights out of me.
Yep.
All right, so for my cheat of the week, Josh Jacobs. Holy crap. That was not a alert that I was expecting on the first day of free agency. 4-year deal for Josh Jacobs. Yes, it's technically, if you looked at the details, Kyle, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I know you know salary caps more than I do. It seems like it is 4 1-year deals. The Packers can opt out or, technically it's a 4-year deal, but they can get out of it all after every year, something like that. But then when this move was made, the key thing to me is when this move was made, Aaron Jones was still on the team. This move was not made when Aaron Jones was already cut. However, I think the writing was on the wall that when this move was made, there was a potential that Aaron was going to get cut. And then that happened. Thank you, Kyle. Packers can get out of Jacobs' contract after the season. So if it doesn't work out, I do not like this deal. I'll be honest. I don't like this move. I do like the fact that they put it that when I do like the fact that they have a chance to get out of it if it doesn't work out. I don't know what Kyle thinks, but I would rather have Aaron Jones on my team than Josh Jacobs.
Oh, really? And Dynasty and redraft?
No, I'm talking Green Bay.
Oh, okay. NFL wise.
I'm talking the way Green Bay was, the way Green Bay was built. I would rather have had Aaron Jones on my team than Josh Jacobs. For fantasy, I don't think this moves him up the needle like he should. I don't think he's going to have as an effect on the offense of Green Bay that he did in Vegas.
Huh.
Packers are going to win now under Aaron Jones for this year than Jacobs. Yeah. There's just something not sitting right with me with this move. I don't see this being a move that is going to cost effectively help Josh Jacobs. If there is a player or if there is a manager in my league that is up on Jacobs because of this move, come and get him. What do you think? Because I have a feeling me and you are different on this.
Yeah, no, I think this is a smash move for the Packers. It helps Jacob. He's actually on a way better team. I remember talking to Jeff mentioning that he never had a passing touchdown in his career. Well, I think that's going to change this year because they didn't need to pass him the ball in Vegas. I think Packers are going to use him in the passing game. They're going to use him as a every down back. They'll have A.J. Dillon coming once in a while. I actually moved him up in my dynasty rankings. I think he's around 13, 14 RB right now for me. But in redraft, I put him all the way up at like RB7.
Oh, shnikey.
Yeah, like I love this move.
I'm not saying that I would leave him all the way down like towards 12, like 15-ish. I'm just not as high on the move as some others like you are.
Yeah, so like right now I'm looking. You obviously got CMC, Brees Hall, Bijan, Saquon, Kyron, Jonathan Taylor, Gibbs, and then who's after that? It's got to be Jacobs. So like if I put Jacobs at 8, behind him you got like Rashad White, Etienne, Cook, Pacheco. Would you rather have any of those guys in redraft?
Let me look. I would. Look at something.
I would take Jacobs way over Rashad White, Etienne, Cook, Pacheco.
You're gonna think we're talking redraft, right?
Yeah.
Okay. CMC, yes. Hall, yes. Robinson, yes. Taylor, these are the ones you said.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, Hall, Robinson, Taylor, Kyron, Gibbs, Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley's up there. I got him at 5.
Okay. You said no to ETN.
Yeah, I got ETN a couple spots lower,
Pacheco,
lower,
Walker.
way lower.
Okay. No, I'm going off Fantasy Pros right now.
Okay.
I would rather have a chain.
See, I was kind of iffy on that one. I don't know where to put a chain right now.
Okay. We just talked about him. What about Derrick Henry?
I do have Henry lower. I think it was that touchdown factor that you talked about earlier. Lamar's gonna steal some touchdowns from him. But I mean, that's not too far apart, man. Like,
No, it's not too. I was just seeing what they had. That's all. Right now, they have currently Jacobs is at 14
for redraft.
For redraft, but the problem is a lot of people haven't updated their redraft rankings because everyone's in dynasty mode.
Okay.
So I'm just talking in their ECR. I mean, it makes sense.
So I might be at his highest point, putting him at number 8.
So their highest ranker currently, because it gives the best and worst. Their worst ranker right now has them at 20. The best, but like I said, that could be not updated. And their best ranker currently has them at 8.
Okay, cool. That makes me feel better. So I'm at the highest point right now.
ETN's highest is 7. A chain's highest is 7. Pacheco's highest is 9. There's one, for instance, I know for a fact that Derrick Henry, the highest, hasn't ranked his because his highest is at 4. And there's no way you're going to have Henry this year at 4.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, Jamie ran a little long again, but guess what? That's okay. Good night. It was a great night. Great night to talk fantasy. Kyle, thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Kyle.
Jamie, why don't you give an outro real quick, and then we will wrap it up.
I'm on the X machine. My name, Jamie Perogue. You find me on the cheat sheet every other Tuesday right now. And then actually I'm going to be with Kyle this Monday, I believe. I'm going to be his first guest on press coverage. So check that out. You get to know a little bit about my background and all that. It'll be fun episode. Other than that, find me on Facebook. I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups. We'll get you connected. Hit me up in the DMs.
You guys know where to find me. Drop the Mike FF on the X, the blue machine, whatever you want to call it. If you need a graphic, you want something, Jamie can attest that I've gotten better over the years, and
Amazing.
I don't mind helping people out if they need something, an idea, whatever it was. So for Jamie, for Mike, have a good evening, everybody, and peace out.